This is my favorite jacket. It's a linen rayon blend lined jacket that I bought online. I want to make myself a knitted version of this jacket. Here's what it looks like on me. Ta-da! Pretty darn good, right? I wear this jacket a lot in 3 out of the 4 seasons we have around here. In other words, it's good for every season except winter. I really want a knitted version of this. Do you think I can do it? Follow me into the lounge and we'll find out. Hi. Welcome to the lounge. I'm not kidding. I really love this jacket. I wear it all the time. I love the fact that it's a linen and rayon blend. I love the weight of it. I love how it hangs. I love the shape, the size. It's a little bit cropped, so you can see here that it just kind of comes just to my high hip, just a little bit longer than this little cropped adorable sweater that I am wearing. It's just all around kind of the perfect jacket for me, and it's part of my capsule. Now, I don't actually have a legit capsule clothing collection, but the concept of having a capsule collection of clothing really intrigues me. So I'm leaning in that direction. If you're not familiar with what a capsule collection is, it's effectively taking the 11 million pieces of clothing you have in your closet right now and narrowing them down to the kind of bare minimum amount of pieces that you think you can stand to wear over and over again. So generally speaking, now I'm no expert in capsule wardrobes, but I've done a little, wee tiny smidge of research, so let's pretend like I know something about it. You're gonna be looking for about 2 to 4 base neutrals, and then a couple of accent colors or prints to go with that. My neutrals are navy, white, and gray. And the majority of my accents are teal, turquoise, and green, as you may have noticed by most of the things that I've knit that I have shown you fall into that color range. I wear a lot of navy. I used to wear a lot of black, but as I have aged, I find that navy is more flattering for me. It's not quite as harsh as black. And I am not judging anyone of any age who loves to wear black and looks fabulous in black. Go for it. Black is amazing. I'm just saying, for me, I have found that I feel better in navy than I do in black. So the question is, can I reproduce this jacket? This jacket is definitely part of my capsule. I have like a couple of navy tees I wear over and over and over again. I have my dark navy jeans I wear over and over, a couple of pairs of navy pants I wear over and over, a couple of navy shirts and a couple of woven shirts. Anyway, I wear my navy clothes more than anything else except for my hand knit sweaters. Like I said, I wear this jacket all of the time. Okay, I took it off so that we can analyze it. And you might want to see I have a collection of enamel pins. Someday I will show you my collection of enamel pins, but for now you get to see this one. This pin is Hands Knitting a Brain, which might, you could judge me. You could think it's a little weird. I happen to think it's kind of cool. And I keep it on this jacket. Anyway, I digress, as I want to do. Thank you very much for your comments, Oscar. So here's what I'm thinking. I could design a jacket exactly like this if I really wanted to. However, I don't really feel like spending the next month doing nothing but figuring out this jacket and knitting swatches and drafting a pattern and making a sample and all that kind of stuff. I just want to knit it. So I'm going to go looking for a pattern. So let's take a look at this and kind of analyze what it is and see what I need to be looking for when I'm looking for a pattern to try and duplicate this as best I can. It's mostly a boxy shape, but it does have a bit, of armhole shaping. You can see there. It does have a bit of armhole shaping. Everything is backwards. I can't see what I'm doing. It also has a yoke with a seam right here. Don't care about that. That is a detail, kind of a decorative detail, really. Same on the back. It's a pieced back with a yoke, and all of those elements are what make this nice woven fabric fit so well. In knitting, we have all that nice stretch. We've got more flexibility. I'm not overly concerned about that. We don't need seams. It also has pockets, breast pockets. Now, I wouldn't mind breast pockets in my knitted garment, except that in knitting, breast pockets don't kind of disappear into the front of the garment like they do in a woven fabric. So if I put breast pockets here, here's a little sneak peek of the swatch I'm going to show you later. I'm adding this extra bulk right here. Now, in this dark fabric, that might be okay, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to knit the jacket first, assuming I can, and then I will knit up a couple pockets and baste them on and see how I feel about it. I don't really need a lot of bulk right here. You know what I'm talking about. And other than that, it's got a collar. That's a deal breaker. It's got to have a collar. And I roll up the sleeves. This has full length sleeves with a button. What do you call it? A placket and a button. I don't care about that. I'm going to knit 3/4 sleeves on the jacket because I always roll them up and push them up anyway. I just don't need them long. It's not going to be a winter sweater. It is a transitional, like spring, summer, fall, transitional kind of sweater. 3/4 sleeves are going to be just fine. Okay, there's our goal. Let's talk patterns. I went on to Ravelry and I looked at a lot of patterns, like hundreds of them. And what I did to start with was I set a filter for sport weight and DK weight because I thought, well, you know, I want kind of a light-ish jacket. So that's what I'm going for. So I went into the Ravelry advanced search in the patterns and I set it for sweater, jacket, DK, or sport, adult. Didn't particularly care what gender, doesn't matter. I didn't get as many good results from that search as I was hoping I would. I found about 35 that I flagged and I thought I would go take another look at. And then I was looking at something else and I just happened to come across this design by Hinterm Stein. Here's Hinterm Stein's name up there. If you're not familiar with her, she's a German designer, maybe Austrian. Oscar, can you look up and tell me if she's German or Austrian? Thank you. And I love her designs. They're so classy and they're exactly my taste. They're comfortable, but they look tailored. She does a lot of collars. She does a lot of V-necks, which I like. I just really like her aesthetic, and she puts really interesting details into otherwise quite simple silhouettes and fabrics. I just like her. So I found this one called Cozy Cubes. It is not sport weight or DK, so it did not show up in my search. It is Aran weight. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Aran weight? How is an Aran weight jacket going to be transitional from spring, summer, fall? That's madness. Well, maybe it's madness. When I really think about it, this jacket is pretty hefty. It's lined. And not only is it lined, but it's lined with polyester. So it's actually a little warmer than you might think. So this lovely light to medium weight linen rayon fabric with the polyester lining could come kind of close to a worsted or Aran weight piece of knitted fabric. But here's the thing. What's going to matter the most? never mind the weight, like never mind the gauge of the knitting. What's going to matter is the properties of the yarn and how the fabric comes out. So I went looking because I thought, well, maybe I can find an Aran weight yarn that is not wool and would be not dense like some cottons. Remember in my marling video, here's the link to the marling video I posted last week, I had my turquoise, my gradient marled turquoise sweater that was knit in a summer pattern but was too heavy to wear for summer because it was so dense. It was cotton, and it was dense, heavy cotton. Guess what I found? I happened to have a gift certificate to my local yarn store called Beehive Yarns. So I went online and I looked at their stock, and I found this yarn called Cotton Feathers by Gathering Yarn. Now, don't get too excited because this was a limited edition and I don't know if you'll be able to find it anywhere else. So if you really want some of this, like, get online right now, go to Beehive Yarns. I'll put the link down below and scoop it up. And you may want some after I talk about this. It's really interesting. So this is Aran weight, but what it is it's one of those blown yarns. So it's a nylon mesh tube. I'll try to hold this closer so you can get a look at it. So there is a nylon mesh tube, and the cotton fibers are blown into that tube to make this substantial yarn, but it's light as a feather. Honestly, like, this is not dense at all. It's like a cloud. It's like air. And interestingly enough, when I went looking for other similar yarns, a lot of them have cloud or air in the name, these types of blown yarns. If you go to yarnsub.com or yarnsubstitution.com, I can't remember which one, and you can search for blown yarns. They have a category all their own. A lot of them are wool and wool blends, like animal blends, but there are plant fiber versions like this one. I'll note some of them down below that I found and put links to them so you can go take a look. Okay, so I found a pattern. Oh, and we didn't really talk about this pattern, did we? All right, so I found the pattern. I saw that it needed Aran yarn, and then I went and located some Aran yarn that I thought was going to work for this pattern. So let's go back to the pattern and take a look at it and see why I felt like it would be the right pattern. So here's a bigger picture of this, because I know this is tiny and you can't see it. But the elements of this pattern that I think make it very close to my jacket that I want to knit. It's got a collar, it's got a straight front. I can easily adjust the sleeves. It's got slightly drop-shouldered sleeves, but not very dropped. And in the back, it's got this really cool 3-button placket that I think just gives it that little bit of, this is more than just a straight up vanilla knitted cardigan with a collar, right? And I found some buttons already. Are owlies. I got these at another one of my local yarn stores called the Button and Needlework Boutique. Look at how cute these are. Are they not the cutest thing you've ever seen? Damn, they are so cute. Honestly, I absolutely love them. So here's the swatch. We're getting to the swatch in a minute, but you can kind of see how they're going to look on the swatch. They're going to be so cute. And I have sort of similarly, although albeit quite more boring buttons on my favorite jacket. I really should get some better buttons for this. And there's nothing wrong with these buttons. They look fine, but they are just plastic buttons. And I've always done this thing where I kind of like cut the buttons off my clothes and replace them with better buttons because I really like good buttons. Tell me if you like good buttons too. Are you another button fan out there? Because I have a thing about buttons. My next step was to take a look at the schematic in the pattern and all of the measurements. And one of the things I love about Hinterm Stein is she gives a ton of measurements for her schematic. So it was really easy for me to take measurements off my garment, the one that I love, and compare it to the measurements on the schematic and see if I was going to have to make any modifications. As luck would have it, the extra large in the Hinterm Stein pattern was almost bang on the measurements of my jacket. So I am delighted. Now, I gotta say, it hurts my feelings a little tiny bit to have to knit an extra large when in my heart I feel like I shouldn't have to ever knit anything bigger than a large. But you know what? It doesn't matter. It's only a number on that list of measurements for that size. Like the size could be anything. It could be size cucumber and the next one down could be size tomato. It really doesn't matter. So try not to get hung up on the label on the size. I try not to do that. This jacket is, the maker is Laura. I don't know if you're familiar with Laura. This was a Laura Petite and it was a size 14 and it fits me just fine. So whatever. It really makes no difference. So I'm good. I know I don't have to make any modifications, even armhole depth, the shoulder, across the shoulders, like everything is going to come out the way I want it to. So I've got my pattern that's going to come out very much like my favorite jacket. And I've got my yarn that's going to give me the right kind of fabric, or at least I think I do. What do I need to do? I need to swatch. Once again, here's my how to knit on a swatch video. You're going to want to go take a look at that because you always, if you are knitting a garment, other projects you can maybe get away without swatching, but I would say never with a garment. You should always swatch. Yeah, I know you don't want to hear that, but I'm saying it anyway, at the risk of getting booed at in the comments. You may be booing me right now. I care not. So here's my swatch. This particular pattern is 18 stitches to 4 inches. So I put my running markers on either side of 18 stitches. I knit it, I blocked it, I let it dry, I measured, and I have bang on 4 inches between these running markers. So I'm good. What would I have done, you ask, if I was not bang on? If 4 inches went past that line or 4 inches was inside that line? Go check out that video link I put up there. Go watch how to knit on a swatch. It's important. I'm just going to say, if you care about your finished garment, it's important. One of the things I like to say is, if you're not going to swatch, somebody's going to get a sweater. It's not going to be you. Was that cheeky? It was, wasn't it? The other thing I did on this swatch is there's actually a little bit of a texture design in the fabric for this whole jacket, which is kind of cool. So it'll make up for the fact that I don't have those seams in the back and the side that give my favorite jacket, my what do you call it? My fabric, my woven jacket, a bit of interest. But look, check this out. See that? See how it makes cubes, hence the name Cozy Cubes? That's pretty neat, hey? I quite like it. It's nothing but purl stitches. That's it. And it makes this really cool texture. I always love that. I mean, I like complex things too, but sometimes I love it when something super simple has a big impact. So there we have it, folks. At the beginning of the video, I said, can I knit this jacket? And it looks like I can. I've got the pattern, I've got the yarn, my swatch turned out, I've got a martini. What could go wrong? So thanks for joining me today. If you had a good time, you got any value, you found this interesting, feel free to do the, you know, the thumbs up and the other stuff. Yeah, you know what to do, whatever. And I got my favorite jacket. If you heard me talking about running markers, what the heck are running markers? Best way to find out is go watch my video on running markers and learn all about them. They are super useful. So Oscar says goodbye. I say goodbye. See you next week.